Hi, I'm Emery. At 28, I've finally got my life somewhat together with a decent job as an event coordinator at Skyline Events and a boyfriend of 3 years who I thought was the one. Boy, was I wrong. Hey, did you see the earrings Ryan got me for our anniversary last month? I spun around in my office chair to show Natalie, my best friend since college and co-worker in the cubicle next to mine. Damn, girl, he's really stepping up his game lately. Think he's buttering you up for something special? Natalie wiggled her eyebrows suggestively. Stop it! But yeah, he did make reservations at Bellissimo for Valentine's Day. Like the fanciest place downtown that's booked months in advance. Oh my God, he's totally proposing. Has Jake dropped any hints? You know Jake can't keep a secret to save his life, but he's been weirdly quiet lately. Last time we all had drinks, he kept giving Ryan these looks whenever I mentioned Valentine's plans. Jake had been Ryan's best friend since high school and had always been super supportive of our relationship. He was the one who introduced us at a company party where my firm was coordinating and his advertising agency was a client. Valentine's Day arrived and I spent 2 hours getting ready. Ryan picked me up looking sharp in a new suit. You look incredible, he said, kissing my cheek as I got into his car. Bellissimo, huh? Going all out this year? Only the best for my favorite girl. The restaurant was packed with couples, twinkling lights and red roses everywhere. Our table had a perfect view of the city skyline. Mr. Miller, welcome back. The hostess greeted Ryan with surprising familiarity. Your usual server will be with you shortly. Usual server? We'd never been here before. Before I could ask, a stunning blonde approached our table. Hi, I'm Melissa. I'll be taking care of you tonight. She smiled at Ryan in a way that made my stomach tighten. Something felt off about how her eyes lingered on him. Thanks, Melissa. We'll start with the champagne I called about earlier. As dinner progressed, I noticed Melissa coming to our table more often than necessary, always touching Ryan's shoulder or leaning in too close. Ryan seemed distracted, checking his watch repeatedly. Everything okay? I asked after she left for the 5th time. Never better. Actually, there's something I want to ask you. My heart skipped. This was it. The proposal Natalie had predicted. I'd already mentally selected my maid of honor. Suddenly, Ryan pushed his chair back and got down on one knee beside our table. The restaurant fell silent. Phones came out to record the moment. Emery, we've been together for 3 years now, he started, reaching for my hand. Tears welled in my eyes. Yes? And I wanted to ask you. He paused dramatically, then turned his head. Melissa, would you do me the honor of becoming my wife? Melissa squealed and rushed over from where she'd been waiting by the bar. The restaurant erupted in confused murmurs as she threw herself into Ryan's arms. What the hell is happening? I whispered, as every eye in the packed restaurant turned to witness my humiliation. Sorry, Em. I've been trying to find the right time to tell you. Melissa and I have been seeing each other for months. I thought this would be the perfect way to make it official. I sat frozen in my chair while the entire restaurant stared. Some people looked away awkwardly. Others openly filmed the train wreck on their phones. You've been seeing each other for months? While we were together? My voice barely made it above a whisper. Ryan shrugged like he was telling me we were out of milk. It just happened. Melissa started at Bellissimo 3 months ago and we hit it off. Hit it off? You've been living with me, sleeping in my bed. Melissa had the audacity to look annoyed. He's been trying to break things off with you, but you're so clingy. He said you'd fall apart. I grabbed my purse and stood up. How convenient that I'm hearing all this for the first time in front of 100 strangers. Come on, don't make a scene, Ryan hissed, finally looking embarrassed. We can talk about this later. There won't be a later. I dumped his champagne glass directly into his lap before walking out. Outside, I called Natalie, barely able to speak through tears. He did what? Where are you? I'm coming right now. 20 minutes later, Natalie picked me up from a coffee shop around the corner. Her face told me everything. You knew, didn't you? She gripped the steering wheel tighter. I didn't know he was going to pull this stunt, I swear. But I saw them together at Lakeside Mall last month. He said they were planning a surprise for you. And you believed that? For a whole month? I didn't want to be the one to blow up your relationship without proof. I've been trying to catch them again to be sure. My phone buzzed with a text from Jake. Holy shit, Em. Just heard what happened. Ryan told me it was a surprise for you, not this. Call me. I called him immediately. You helped him plan this? I swear I didn't know what he was really doing. He told me he was surprising you with a unique proposal that would involve the waitress bringing out a special dessert with the ring. I even helped him pick out flowers to be delivered to your apartment afterward. What a thoughtful touch for my humiliation, I spat. The flowers were real. I saw the receipt. He must have canceled them after I left. The next morning, Ryan's sister Olivia called me 6 times before I finally answered. Look, I know my brother can be a total jerk, but this is just Ryan being Ryan. He gets these wild ideas and doesn't think about consequences. Remember when he crashed that boat at my wedding? This isn't a harmless prank, Olivia. He's been cheating on me for months. He's always been impulsive. Remember when we were kids and he... Stop making excuses for him. He's 32, not 12. After hanging up, I checked our joint bank account we'd opened for our future home down payment. The balance was thousands lower than it should have been. I downloaded the transaction history, and there it was. Jewelry purchases, spa days, weekend getaways to the coast. All during times Ryan had told me he was working late or on business trips. I took screenshots of everything before he could delete them. My shock was hardening into something colder, more calculated. I thought about how Ryan had always been so protective of his phone, how he'd dodged conversations about our future lately, how he'd been working late at the office 3 nights a week. I remembered the look on Melissa's face, not just happiness, but triumph. This wasn't just about them falling in love. This was about public humiliation. They wanted to hurt me. Fine. If it's a show they wanted, I'd give them the performance of a lifetime. I opened a new document on my laptop and began typing. Plan A, gather intelligence. I spent the week gathering intel like a scorned detective. First stop, convincing my landlord to let me see security footage from our apartment building. Look, I wouldn't normally show this to anyone, but what he did was ice cold, said security guard Tony. Been with my wife 20 years, never stepped out. The timestamps matched perfectly with working late texts from Ryan. Seeing them enter our home together made me physically ill. I called Natalie for coffee, playing the devastated ex perfectly. I'm so sorry, Em. I should have told you my suspicions. It's fine. I just need to know what people are saying. Natalie looked uncomfortable. Ryan's telling everyone you were suffocating him, that you pushed for marriage when he wasn't ready. He's painting himself as the victim who found true love. What about Melissa? How'd she get that job at Bellissimo? Ryan's college roommate Marcus is the manager there. Pulled strings to get her hired 3 months ago. That evening, Jake called again. Please let me make this right. I feel awful. We met at a dive bar where Jake spilled everything. Ryan told me he was planning this romantic gesture where he'd pretend to propose. Then the waitress would bring the actual ring on a dessert plate. I even helped him practice. Did he ever mention Melissa specifically? No, just the waitress. But he did have me drop off a package at Bellissimo a month ago. When's his birthday party at Olivia's place? Friday at 8. Half our friends will be there, including people from your office. Ryan's invited Marcus and some Bellissimo staff. Perfect. When Jake went to the bathroom, I checked his phone and forwarded myself the party details. The next day, I accidentally ran into Marcus at his favorite coffee shop. Emery, God, this is awkward. Did you know Ryan was cheating when you hired Melissa? Marcus turned pale. He said they were just friends. I owed him after he helped me beat that DUI. Another puzzle piece. Ryan had used his law firm position to help Marcus escape consequences, then called in the favor. By Wednesday, my plan was crystallizing. Through a college friend at Ryan's firm, I discovered he'd been skipping work to meet Melissa, claiming client meetings. I had compiled bank records showing purchases for Melissa, security footage of them entering our apartment, texts where he lied about his whereabouts, testimonies from multiple sources. I made one final call to Olivia, feigning emotional distress. I just need closure, Olivia. Could I drop by briefly during the party to return his things? Of course, sweetie. Maybe seeing you will knock some sense into him. She had no idea what was coming. Friday approached fast. Ryan's birthday would become his worst nightmare. I prepared a USB drive with all my evidence and practiced my speech. The tables were about to turn in the most public way possible. Friday night arrived, and I showed up at Olivia's swanky downtown loft during Ryan's birthday speech. The place went silent as I walked in. Ryan froze mid-sentence, champagne glass in hand. Emery? What are you doing here? Brought you a birthday present. Mind if I share it with everyone? Before he could stop me, I plugged my USB drive into Olivia's TV and grabbed the remote. Ladies and gentlemen, since Ryan loves public displays, I thought I'd share one of my own. The screen displayed security footage of Ryan bringing Melissa to our apartment while I was at work. I clicked through evidence. Bank statements showing thousands spent on her from our joint account, emails proving he skipped work to meet her, and text messages planning my public humiliation. You told me she was just a friend, Marcus shouted, pushing through the crowd. I could lose my liquor license over this nepotism. Melissa backed away from Ryan. You said your girlfriend knew about us. You said she was cool with it. Oh, it gets better, I continued, switching to text messages between Ryan and Jake. He was planning the Valentine's Day stunt for weeks. Jake turned pale. Those were private messages. So was my relationship, but that didn't stop you from making it a spectacle. I turned to Olivia next. And you, always covering for him. Just Ryan being Ryan? Funny how you expect everyone to forgive your brother while you're still suing your ex-husband for kissing his coworker? Olivia's boyfriend whipped around. You're doing what? The party exploded into chaos. Ryan's boss cornered him with fury in his eyes. Melissa was arguing with Marcus about her job security. Natalie was being confronted by our coworkers for keeping quiet. You've ruined everything, Ryan hissed when he reached me. No, I just made sure everyone knows who you really are. By the way, I've filed a police report about the money you stole from our account. The aftermath was swift. Ryan was put on probation at his firm for misuse of company time and resources. Melissa lost her job when Marcus was forced to justify her hiring process. Jake and Natalie became social outcasts among our friends for their roles in the deception. Olivia's relationship imploded when her boyfriend discovered she'd been hiding multiple lawsuits. I ran into Ryan a month later at a coffee shop. He looked disheveled and tired. I've been thinking about what happened. I was wrong. Maybe we could talk about save it. Your apology means nothing to me. But I've lost everything. My reputation, respect at work, friends. Sounds like exactly what you deserve. I walked out feeling lighter than I had in months. Sometimes karma needs a little help, and I was happy to lend a hand. The best revenge wasn't just exposing Ryan's betrayal. It was showing everyone exactly who he'd chosen over me, and walking away with my head held high while his carefully constructed life fell apart. What would you have done in Emery's position? Was her public humiliation of Ryan and everyone involved justified? Or did she go too far by affecting their careers and relationships? Would you have accepted Ryan's apology after he lost everything? Or was she right to walk away? Share your thoughts in the comments below. How would you handle betrayal and public humiliation? Would you seek revenge or choose to move on quietly? If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories like this one. Turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching.